Alright, no be small thing o. Baba Falana don finally scatter that table leg. He has broken the table's leg and has made a whole lot of expository here. Anyway, let's watch this video and hear what he said. Some has alleged that he wasn't referring to Tinubu, he was referring to another person. But let's just watch this video and then let's see and hear who Baba Falana is actually referring to. And please don't forget to share your opinion respectively on the comment sections. Watch the video and hear what he said here. I'll be right back.
Transcorp Hilton is sitting head of state in Nigeria. Sold it to himself and his friends. This hotel. But I can assure you, at the right time, the Nigerian people will collect their assets from those who have cornered them. In September last year, NEITI, a government agency, disclosed to Nigerians that a few oil and gas companies are owing Nigeria by way of royalties and taxes $6.17 billion and 64 billion naira. Nobody has denied the figures. If that money was collected, the federal government will have taken no less than $3.5 billion going by the revenue allocation formula. But what has happened? I think 2 months later, the president went to the National Assembly and got the fiat of those gentlemen and ladies to take a loan of $2.1 billion to fund the 2025 budget. Nobody is collecting our money, but the president is taking a loan, mortgaging the future of Nigerians and even Nigerians yet unborn. The ladies may also interest you. A few oil companies, we call them the IOCs, are owing. I have read the tax reform bills, and I want to say without any fear of contradiction that the efforts are merely scratching the surface. We're not addressing serious taxation in our country. And I do hope you can take up some of the issues I'm going to raise. Number one, in this building, somebody said he wanted to set up a presidential library. By the way, it can only be a military presidential library because libraries by former presidents are usually set up by elected presidents. So not a dictator. It will be the first time in the history of the world that a military dictator is setting up a presidential library. So we must qualify it so that people can be able to distinguish between the real libraries and pretensions. Having said that, they gathered here last week. And within a few minutes, not less than 17 billion was raised. Who died? Because this is why we must address taxation. How did those guys come about such colossal sums of money in their possession? They belong to us, America. And one of them was honest to say, all of us here were made by this man. And what he was saying was that General Babangida used the gun to take oil and gas resources of the Niger Delta and distributed oil blocks to his friends. Those were the people who were distributing. We were announcing those figures without doing anything. You take the oil block, you go and talk to people outside the country, call it offshore, without contributing anything. They will take the license from you, the paper, and make you instantly a multi-billionaire. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody has used a gun to take your property. He has now given it to his friend, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Secondly, and this goes beyond oil block, gold and other solid minerals are also being distributed, even now. And those are areas we have to address. Can the system continue to enrich a few people at the expense of the others? Those are areas we must address when you are talking of taxation. Again, you take your gun, you seize all the public enterprises of the government, and you distribute them to your friend, either at giveaway prices or outright gifts. They call it privatization. It has just been reported in the House of Reps, an inquiry is going on, that the Allied steel industry in Delta State, valued at $700 million, was sold for $30 million. That's about 3 or 4 years ago. Where we are hosted, this building. To spend the night here, now, I think it's not less than $500,000. It's one of the best investments in Africa, not just in Nigeria. Transcorp Hilton is sitting head of state in Nigeria. Sold it to himself and his friends. This hotel. But I can assure you, at the right time, the Nigerian people will collect their assets from those who have cornered them. In September last year, Militi, a government agency, disclosed to Nigerians that a few oil and gas companies are owing Nigeria by way of royalties and taxes $6.17 billion and 64 billion naira. Nobody has denied the figures. If that money was collected, the federal government will have taken no less than $3.5 billion going by the revenue allocation formula. But what has happened? I think 2 months later, the president went to the National Assembly and got the fiat of those gentlemen and ladies to take a loan of $2.1 billion to fund the 2025 budget. Nobody is collecting our money, but the president is taking a loan, mortgaging the future of Nigeria, and even Nigerians yet unbound. The ladies may also interest you. A few oil companies, we call them the IOCs, are owing Nigeria $62 billion in respect of a law not implemented for 18 years. So please, if you want to collect taxes, these areas you must address. I called you one day, and I'm happy you said you are working on it, and I've seen it. Again, many of those who donated last week operate in a place they call free economic zone. In that zone, we are not bound by the tax laws of Nigeria. In other words, they are exempted from payment of federal, state, and local government taxes. In that zone, whatever they are importing to the country, duty-free. I submit and have made the point repeatedly. That law is illegal, discriminatory, and unconstitutional. I am in Lagos. I operate in a Kenya. You can't ask me to be paying taxes in the Kenya, where I have my operation, while somebody has a factory valued at over $20 billion and is not paying taxes. What kind of taxation regime is that? All the things imported by him, duty-free. Whatever I import, I pay duties. It's discriminatory. It's illegal. It's contrary to Section 42 of the Constitution and Article 2 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. I'm therefore submitting that this business of reforming the tax laws of our country and policies will require a more rigorous exercise. We are going to step on toes. Some of those toes are dangerous. But You will need the support of the Nigerian people to impose appropriate taxes on those who are accepted by the government, fundamentally by the government, because we must be treated equally under the law. Unequals must be treated unequally, and equals must be treated equally. Why the law has made a special provision for physically challenged people is because, due to no fault of yours, you may not be able to compete. For instance, the government has breached a part of the law that says within a period of 5 years, all public buildings shall be disability compliant. The government has not done anything about that. So it is the same thing with taxes. If we want to run Nigeria on the path of social justice, as stipulated by Chapter 2 of the Constitution, we must use this current exercise of tax reforms to raise queries and see how the country can generate enough revenue to address
Anyways, I
challenge.
don't know why this video is trending. I don't know why everybody is talking about this video. I don't know why everybody is posting and sharing the video. Meanwhile, you have watched it. You share your opinion with us. Let us know what you think. Some say that no, it's an old video. It's actually not referring to Baba Tinubu. It's referring to Obasanjo. Why some say, man, wait till you no know pass you. But for this country, all more things they happen. You see, these politicians, sometimes they can do anything. The law does not work for everybody in this country. It works for some certain person in this country. You can quote it up until tomorrow. Sometimes if you are a big politician and you have connection, you have friends and all of that, you can get away with anything irrespective of the law. Sometimes it's not as if the government does not understand the law, and you begin to imagine, does it mean that these guys who made this law, they don't understand it, or does it mean that the law is not meant for them? They know how to buy corner, they know how to justify whatever their action is, with that same law. And when you are not part of them, the law stands against you and points you to your error. Anyway, this is the situation of our leadership and our law in this nation. I just pray that things begin to turn around. But things are really happening. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you still do not know. But how can you know? It's only when you join them, you will know. Videos, you will. It is where my people share your opinion respectively on the comment sections. Let us know what you think about this expository, what Baba Falana has just said now. Some are saying that Omo, this is an old trend, but whatever it is, I think he has made some expository that we really need to look into and revisit again. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.